Do you hate playing neutral? Do you enjoy the idea of forcing someone to block for so long they start experiencing symptoms of psychological trauma?
The mind cannot hope to withstand such an assault.
Are you perhaps a dog person? Would you consider Elmer's glue as a viable pre-workout? If you responded yes to any of those,
RamLETHAL Valentine.
maybe for you. How a character's design can tell you a bit about their playstyle. For example,
Chipp.
big hands, huge frame, and a stance that just screams, hug me. So you know at a glance that Potemkin's a grappler.
RamLETHAL.
Ram's design invokes a lot of cat-like imagery. This is intentional. Because, much like how a cat knocks things off the edge of your desk, Ram knocks the opponent off the edge of the screen. Ram has a lot of moves, far too many to put in a single video. So I've condensed the important ones into these categories. First up, slashes. Far slash. At 11 frames of startup, a complete disjoint. Far slash is incredibly safe, while invalidating entire characters. 2H. A preemptive anti-air, and one of the most cursed moves in the game. Sweep.
It's not good.
Ram's sweep is the shortest range sweep in the entire game.
Yikes.
It does have some application, but all things considered, it's a pretty lackluster move. Although it does get bonus points for being a snuggie. Specials. Banjanetto, more commonly known as Sword Toss. As a projectile, this move has the most priority out of any projectile in the game. You can't just throw them out willy-nilly. Because once you throw a sword, you can't use it again until you either run over and pick it up, or wait a set amount of time for your little gremlin to start dragging it back. When used in combos, this move has absurd corner carry, and allows almost unburstable wall breaks. But that's not even the meat and potatoes of this move.
You little lesbian.
When the sword reaches the corner, after a set amount of time, it explodes. This explosion, and the sword itself, is +3. Which means that unless you have an invincible reversal, you're in for a bad time. Because while there are gaps, they are incredibly hard to find. Rekka. It's a 3-hit special that's delayable and can be cancelled into other specials, including itself. When blocked, this move is a multi-layered frame trap that's very hard to deal with. Because if you push a button at the wrong time, you die. Defense. RamLETHAL is a girl. Due to this, the based Daisuke, just like every other female character. Ram had her defense lowered for balancing reasons. She has 1.06 defense with a guts value of 1, which are all mathematical values that sum up to essentially she takes more damage than the average character. On top of that, her defensive tools aren't the best. Her jab's 5 frames with a pretty anemic range. Her kick is 6 frames and is pretty solid, but as shown before, has trouble gatling into anything useful. So the character that has great damage, great neutral, dies on defense. A real tragedy. Man, if only she had some sort of supers. Mordobato is Ram's reversal super. Being frame 1 invincible, with 9 frames of startup, with a hitbox that could be considered mildly obscene. Along with its high damage, this move is just flat out ridiculous. Here's a little pro tip. If you land a counter hit on somebody with Mordobato, you can OTG into Sotrabato for a little bit extra damage. Calvados.
Bobby, open the door.
Calvados is a giant beam, with 24 frames of startup, and is plus 16. And does a hefty chunk of chip damage. While it is slow enough to be punished on reaction, you can knowledge check people with it. Or simply call them out. While slower than Mordobato, it's all around a really solid super. So that's it. That's all of Ram's moves. Or at least the important ones. There's one more thing you should know. Public perception of this character isn't really the greatest. She wins more matchups than any other character in the game. And she only really has 2 bad ones.
Yo, mama finna beat the fuck out you. She on the way with the belt now, bitch ass.
My mom said I can call you a
So just keep in mind, if you play RamLETHAL, other people may not think very highly of you. Just try to remember, this is Guilty Gear. Everyone's bullshit is blazing. Some people's just blaze a little hotter than others.
We can go home now. Let's go.
RamLETHAL.